So here is a patch. Excuse my voices, I have allergies and so it comes and goes. It's a little raspy today, but this is a patch of daylilies, orange daylilies. I'll put a picture right here. These daylilies are growing, and they are growing so thick. So with most plants and perennials in general, after about 3-4 years, it's really time to thin everything out because the productivity of the blossoms decrease. So I have these daylilies here and I'm propagating them. So let me show you as I take you over here of some that I've already dug up. Here's some that I already dug up. So I have some here that I'm getting ready to find a new home for. And what I've been doing, you don't have to do this, but I find that it's very helpful for me, is to go ahead and chop the tops. These daylilies don't bloom until June, and so they'll definitely regenerate new leaves, and it makes transplanting so much easier. So I just trim off the leaves like that, and I keep going. And now I'm creating a pile right here of leaves. This is a form of mulch. It's going to be high in nitrogen and it will feed the plants now. So I don't necessarily buy as much topsoil anymore. I don't buy compost at all because I create a whole bunch in my garden. And I definitely don't buy regular pine mulch very often unless I'm starting a new bed. So let me show you what I'm going to do with this. I mentioned to you guys before, I did a trash can composting method. So with that, I have 2 trash cans here and I have a third with the complete compost. This one right here is actually my active pile. And this one here is pretty much my complete pile, and I've been utilizing it. It was actually full here, so now it's about right there. And then I have another one off to the side. It was first starting to state are really good as like a compost or a mulch layer. And so to keep weeds down around the trash can, I found that because it is compost, everything in the vicinity of these trash can composting, even the weeds, like super grow. And that's all good and dandy if I was trying to grow weeds, which I'm not. So I have to figure out a way in which to keep the weeds down. So I started putting sharp, and they're going to turn brown, and I put them there and around here. So that will definitely help to keep down the weeds. So that's one way you can do it. And I'm actually doing the same thing with the daylilies in another part of my garden where I have some crops growing. So utilize the resources that you have, plants that are getting really tall after the season is over, like irises, daylilies, yucca, ornamental grass. Matter of fact, if you have an ornamental grass, you can trim that a couple of times a year and it will not hurt the plant at all, and you can use that as mulch. And that's something that I do too. Further elaborate on my waste not, want not gardening, I want to let you guys know that you can utilize all different things as mulch. You don't have to buy topsoil, you don't have to buy pine mulch and things like that. If you want your yard to look more polished, then you can put that on top. So this is where I keep my ornamental grasses. These 3 sort of divided themselves, so I'm trying to get rid of the extras. But I have a holly tree that is huge in my front yard, and it makes a mess. I don't really the holly leaves that have fallen from the tree, and I decided to use them here in this bed as a mulch. And I think that's a great idea because now if I want to, I could put pine mulch on top, which I'm not, because the ornamental grass is literally going to cover in this area, so it will not really be seen. But it did add a height of about 2 inches to this garden bed, which is great. And then in addition to that, I have a couple of little pine bushes, like juniper bushes and stuff, that I trim And when I trim them, I put that on top of this. So I'm adding natural mulch. The worms under there are crazy. I've seen so many under there, and that's just from the ornamental grass alone. But by me adding on additional layers of mulch, I'm diversifying the nutrients that the ground is receiving. In addition to that, I'm providing more shelter for the soil, so on the hot days that come, it's going to stay cooler here, and also less watering. That's the goal, everybody. So we don't want to water too much in the summertime. We want to utilize the resources that we have so that we don't have to keep buying everything, and we want to add nutrients into the soil. Got caught up in the world of making masks about a month and a half now, and it just took me by storm. I actually enjoy making things, and I have a sewing machine, and so my initial need was to make a mask that I could utilize while I'm out gardening or cutting the grass or so forth, so that my allergies wouldn't be so harsh, and then also to have one that is reusable. So I made a couple for myself, and then I gave some as gifts to family because the whole coronavirus started to take place. And after that, some of the family said, hey, are you making orders? And so that's where it sort of compiled. And then I had friends of friends, so I started selling them. So these are some of the masks that I've made. These are just ones that I just made extras of, probably from a custom order. And let me see if I can find the right end. I think these are upside down, so. Okay, so each one has a pocket, as you can see here, and I insert a filter that is sort of like a HEPA filter, so it's good for dust and allergies. And I insert that filter in there. And then most of the masks that I have made are reversible. So that one has that, and then they have elastic bands. So yeah, I have quite a variety. And then I started to get into the ones that were sort of fashion savvy. I have teenagers in the family and so forth, and they wanted some that are really, really cute. So these are satin. And with the satin, you can see that pretty sheen. This one is like a shimmery one. And then all of them have pockets, of course, and then they're reversible. So this is a cotton side. Because one of my teens told me, she said, why don't you make it where it's cotton on the outside, so that way when you breathe in it, if your spit gets on it, then it won't necessarily make the mask all wet and sweaty. So this is the way that she pretty much told me. She hoped to help me tweak them to make them fit better and so forth. So I've had a little help there along the process. And then this one is also satin. And then I actually started to braid the edges here because I was starting to run out the elastic bands. But yeah, I just wanted to share some of the things that I've been doing while I've been MIA from YouTube. So I'm not going to make promises that I'm going to try to be more consistent because I don't like to break promises, but I will do better to be more active on YouTube. But I just wanted to show you some of the things that I've been doing, and I hope you guys are doing something good for other people and taking good care of your family and your friends. I've actually given some of these masks away as well to my neighbors, to the trash people when it early started, and I noticed that they didn't have masks, and some of the elderly in my community as well. Alright guys, so thanks so much for watching. Until next video, have a great day. Bye.